All right, I know yesterday's stream was full of side quests, pretty much the whole stream. And we are not done with those side quests. Luckily, we only have like one and a half more or something like that. We already started this one and we got one more. So let's go and do those as quick as possible and move on to the main story. I think I was mentioning yesterday, during yesterday's stream, that I was looking through the info on PlayStation about, game info. And, I said, oh, yeah, we played like 45 hours and the game completion was 85%. I just looked at it again and apparently the game completion went down by 1%. Now it's 84%. I'm just like, what? And from what I understand, it's based on the main story. So I don't know why it would go down.
Ambrosia won't help me here.
Why? Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming all the main story or all the side quests that we did yesterday wouldn't have any
Come on.
effect. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to go up, but the fact that it went down is kind of surprising. Wonder if we can go this way. And I think we're closing in on 50 hours as well. I thought we'd be able to beat this game in 55 hours, but we might not be able to even do that. At this rate,
Good. They haven't broken camp yet. How did Doris come to know a slaver, I wonder?
We've waited long enough. She's not coming. Ready the bearers. We're leaving.
Back to civilization, is it, Mom?
With all haste.
nice
Lest any
set
of
of
you
armor.
nackwits start talking like these feckless bumpkins. I presume your men are ready. We've suffered too many delays as it is. Any more and I'll be docking your pay.
Yes, Mom.
Oh, but before you go, it appears we have company. Kill him.
Straight to the point. Unfortunately,
You're
they don't
welcome
know
to
who
try.
they're messing with. Let's see how quick we can kill them. Yeah, they do have quite a bit of HP, I give them that. That would normally kill most enemies. Just go through it. I wonder why this is called protect. Oh, no, that must be something else. Oh, you gotta be kidding me with the shield. Who the hell's doing this? That was a waste. Somebody's putting the shields on the... Oh, there you go. Sick of these shields. So annoying to deal with. Oh, I didn't know like Shiva's cloak comes out when we're charging that ability. Actually, kind of interesting. Yo, cat. Welcome to the stream. It's nice to see you.
So much for your escort.
You'll forgive me for not avenging my men. I'm not the swordswoman I used to be. I surrender. Do with me as you wish, Sid the Outlaw.
Sid.
Ah, Doris. I take it you're not here to rescue me from our brooding renegade? You know, I always wondered where you'd vanished to. But casting your lot with this criminal of all people.
Better fighting for a cause than killing for coin. I'm sorry, Sid. I should have told you sooner. This woman, my former master, once trained bearer children to be weapons in service of the highest bidder. She raised
That's
me like
brutal.
a daughter, and I did terrible things to earn her favor.
It wasn't all terrible. Surely. We had our fun, too.
Straight psychopath.
You were always so eager to learn, and had such clever hands. All my other children took either to the blade or to the books. Always either or. But you proved yourself a master of both. That's why I kept you for my own. How about it, my little dagger? Care to swear that blade to me again?
I never swore my blade to you, nor will I ever. I fight for a higher cause, to liberate the bearers of this world. Farewell, Master. Thank you for making me the weapon I am.
You always were a righteous child. Perhaps that's the reason I loved you so.
I'm just gonna let her go.
What do you want to do with her?
I am not the killer she wanted me to be. Not anymore. And she no longer has friends in high places. The Dame does, though. Her connections at the Imperial Court will see that justice is done.
All right. If you're certain.
I am. And thank you for everything. Now, I better let these bearers know that they're safe.
Is that the end of this quest? How's it, or maybe we just gotta check in with somebody to finish it off, and then we can do the other one.
I should head back to the hideaway and put Cole's mind at ease.
I've been having this urge to play another Souls game, even if it's just like the same one that we've already played. I suppose there still is Demon Souls to play. That might be pretty fun.
Welcome back, Sid. Doris's message just arrived. I hear you saved more bearers from being smuggled across the border.
And Noob
With
did
any luck,
mention
they'll be
Armored
joining us in the
Core.
hideaway shortly.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
and
right. Dark
don't need to
Souls
worry
1
about Doris
DLC.
anymore.
We never did
I've
that.
been hoping as much. She
It's
mentioned
not a
one
bad
or two things
idea.
in her report. So the slave we've
Aqua
been
Hoodie,
chasing all
welcome
these
to the
months was
stream.
her former master.
Nice to have you.
Wish I'd known. She's been arrested, by the way, over in Sunbreak. Went quietly, or so we're told. And she won't be getting off lightly. The Empire may have no love for bearers, but it's none too fond of black market traders either. Can't have been easy for Doris.
I'm sure it wasn't. But don't worry. She'll be all right.
I hope so. Suppose you should know, eh? You had quite the past yourself before you came here, or so I understand. Anyway, thanks again, Sid. The Cursebreakers would be lost without Doris. And you, of course.
Keep up the good work, Cole.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that's the end of it pretty quick. Didn't even have to teleport back. But yeah, that would be something we could do. We can go back and, at a minimum, go back to the Souls games where we didn't finish all the bosses. And go and beat them. I mean, Dark Souls 3, we did everything. I feel like
Covered in
there were
nits
so
and
many
lumps
bosses in
of
Dark
oil.
Souls 2. And there was a couple people helping me, with some of the bosses that I would have missed. But I think I mean, the chances are I probably missed one, two, maybe, who knows. I'd have to look at like a list. Dark Souls 1, we definitely missed it since I never even touched the DLC. And I suppose I do have all the save files. We would be in New Game Plus with probably all of them, I imagine. Yeah, I know Dark Souls 2, but we'd only have to be, who knows? I mean, it might be a boss where we need to like play half the game over again or something.
Ah, Clive.
Or
I
we
was just
just, or
about to
maybe we
send
didn't
for
miss
you.
any and we could just
I'd
forget
like you
about
to
it.
take something to Sir Wade
It's also
up in Speed.
Bloodborne. Maybe I missed the boss
Seeds
there.
for planting. Thought it was
Who
about time
knows?
they started growing their own food.
Be fun to go
I'll
back
keep
to him though.
providing them with whatever they need in the meantime, of course. But if Eastpool's going to survive, it's got to be able to fend for itself. As have those poor bearers. They've lived their whole lives in servitude, but now they're their own masters. Small wonder they ain't got the foggiest how to provide for themselves. So it's up to us to teach 'em. And if you're wondering why you, well, the Wagoneers taking supplies up that way have been coming back with more and more reports of Akashic around the village of late. Sir Wade's putting a brave face on it, but I think even he's starting to worry. And if he's likely to share those concerns with anyone, it's you.
Dark Lurker. I haven't beat the Dark Lurker in Dark Souls 2. You need to use humanity per attempt. That sounds
Right.
familiar. You sure I didn't beat that? Let me look up
Thanks.
a
Wouldn't
picture
ask
of
if I
Dark
didn't
Lurker.
have to. There. That should be enough to keep him in Gazal Greens for a few years at least.
Gizal Greens.
No, we beat Dark Lurker.
Not the most
Kind of a pain in the ass
mouth-watering
boss,
crop, I'll admit.
Hated that
They're
damn boss, but we
hardy,
beat him.
They grow
Or her,
fast, and
whatever.
they fill a hole. Better that than something that'll wither away at first frost. And chocobos love 'em too.
Yeah, somebody
which
helped
is
me
no
with that
small
boss.
thing. When I say all of us need to pull together to get Eastpool back on its feet, I mean all of us. They ain't
No, we did the
exactly
quest.
succulent,
Yeah,
but
I definitely
they're
remember beating
alright,
that.
and
I
they're
looked up a picture. We
just
definitely did
about
it.
bearable.
I couldn't forget
I'll
that
take your word
boss.
for it.
That boss,
Anyway,
we died
Sir Wade'll
quite
know
a bit
what
of
to do with
times
him.
to that
And if
boss.
he don't, well, I'll go up there and show him myself.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find that boss on my own. And I don't think I ever would have found that boss on my own. Because you're right, there was like there's a quest you have to do and all that. So yeah, I definitely had some help from some people in the chat. So that's probably the only reason I was able to do that one. I kept dying to like,
barricade so sturdy, even
I mean, if I remember correctly, the magic Dark Lurker throws at you is hurts quite a bit. I was always dying when the second one pops out, and they're like shooting, magic and I think what meteors. Was that a move? Some fire move, I think. I don't know if it was a meteor. It's like, yeah, there is a ton of bosses in Dark Souls too. I mean, there's probably some we missed in Elden Ring too, but I don't know about that one. Some of them some of them are
Lord
probably just
Osfield.
duplicates.
What brings you to Eastpool?
A delivery from Martha.
These are Gizal green seeds. Martha's keen to cut the apron strings, then, is she? I jest, of course. You see, I had thought we might be able to revive the old wheat fields, but they'd long since gone to seed, only without the seeds.
Martha was hoping he might be able to show the bearers how to plant and tend these, so that they'll be able to fend for themselves.
That's not a bad idea. These bearers had only recently escaped their bonds before we brought them here. They know little of freedom, of providing for themselves and their loved ones. Unless we teach them how to live like free men, I fear that all we have achieved in bringing them here is to exchange one master for another. Not that myself and the Guardians have been the best example to them so far, subsisting almost entirely on Martha's charity as we do. It's about time we all started to provide for ourselves, bearers and Guardians alike.
Well, I hope they learn their
Unfortunately,
lesson. I mean,
we've been a
Elden
little
Ring
too
was
busy
pretty
of
much
late to
a
focus on much besides
quantity
bolstering
kind
our
of thing.
defenses. There have been alarming reports
There's
of
definitely some good bosses in
It's
Elden
closing in.
Ring, but
They're coming, so wait. All of them.
I feel like
Time it all. I thought we'd have more time.
in terms of
Gather the men in the square.
the most high
Send to the
quality
rest for
bosses, it's got to be
reinforcements.
Dark Souls 3,
Yes, Sir Wade.
even compared to Elden Ring.
The Horde.
Akashic, a veritable legion of them. They've been seen prowling around the northern reaches for a while now. We don't have the numbers to hold back a swarm that size. I had hoped to build a perimeter wall so that myself and the Guardians might be able to defend the village, but
Now you're out of time.
Oh yeah.
precisely.
Well, they didn't make Dark Souls, or
If
someone else made
reinforcements
Dark
from the
Souls
rest
2,
arrive before
so
they do, we
it's almost
may
like the
just
black
scrape
sheep.
through, but I fear that's rather an enormous if.
Oh, yeah,
What
but
if
the
you
bosses
could
in
call on
Dark Souls 2 are
reinforcements
just
from
kind of
Eastpool?
You mean the bearers?
They were just
We brought
bad.
them here so they might live, not die fighting for their lives.
So wait. You said you lack men to defend the
I
village.
mean, they're all too slow.
Are the bearers not men? Do they not wish to see Eastpool saved? Though they may not be trained soldiers like your guardians. What help they are able to offer could still prove the difference between victory and defeat.
You're right, my lord.
Oh, really? The director of
will
Dark Souls 2 was the co-director
appeal
for
to
Elden
them.
Ring. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, maybe gain some experience in the meantime. You know, took a look at all the mistakes he made in Dark Souls 2 and
My
improved
friends,
upon them.
I
That's good.
humbly beg your aid.
You
We
know,
guardians are few
I think
and
the
our
only
enemies
boss I
many.
liked in Dark Souls 2
But
was
I
Sir
swear
Alone.
we can defeat them with you at our side.
Your favorite boss in the series is Godfrey.
would send us to the slaughter.
Godfrey, the first Elden Chad. Oh, he's the wrestling boss.
So that you and your men
Dude,
might be spared.
that when he switched to wrestling mode, I think that's who that is. That threw me so. I was just so confused, and I just was screwing up all the dodges and all that stuff. It was awful.
But it is worth fighting for.
Fume Knight was also good. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Fume Knight. Yeah, I forgot about that
Wade
guy.
fights to give you lot a chance, just like I do, just like Sid does. We all wanted to give you a home where you could be free. And you got one, didn't you? This place, Eastpool. This is your village, your home. And if you don't fight to protect what's yours, you'll lose it. You know I'm right. This world wants to take everything from you. Everything. Your homes, your freedom, your very lives. So then, are you going to stand by and let that happen to you? Are you going to accept fate like good little Bran did and die, having never stood up for yourselves? Or
The
will
frying
you
pan.
fight like free men and women?
What is this? Conker's Bad Fur Day? Man, I want to do a playthrough of Conker's Bad Fur Day. Be wild. Wonder if I'd get like flagged on YouTube for uploading
Alright.
stuff like that.
Give me a sword. I never dreamt I'd have a home of my own.
I've noticed that the Souls,
Now that I
the
have,
bosses that I really,
don't
really
want
like
to
in
lose
Souls
it.
games, that once I
will
finally beat
protect
them
what's mine, or
and I
die
consider them
trying.
like one of the better fights, it's always the fights I have the hardest
We
time
all
beating.
will. Free men and women.
The ones that you sit
fighting
there for
together.
like 2 hours. Except Champion Gundyr. That was a different story. The fight's cool, but man, if I learned how to parry before the fight, and I didn't even think about parrying during that fight, and I was just getting destroyed until somebody in the chat was like, "Why don't you parry?"
Don't mention it.
And then
Just promise me
still
one
took us a
thing,
while to beat
that
it
you'll show
after
them how
that. But
freeborn fight.
God, Champion Gundyr.
Gladly.
You know, that'd be kind of wild if the lion joined the fight during Godfrey's fight.
Well, if it was numbers you were lacking,
I
you
can't
certainly
think
won't
of
be
too
now.
many fights in that
Thanks
game
to
that
you.
were like 2-on-1.
Oh, I just love the sound of
I
my
wish
own
there was
voice.
more of them.
Lord Rossfield, my lady, we're ready.
So what's the plan of action?
We'll divide our forces into several small detachments, each made up of guardians, bearers, and guards from the rest. These will position themselves at strategic points around the village. Upon engaging with the Akashic, each detachment will keep the creatures occupied as best they can, steadily retreating all the while.
You're going to lure them into the village.
I am. We will have neither the time nor the resources to treat the wounded, so injuries must be avoided at all costs. Instead, we will focus purely on defense at first. By coordinating our withdrawal through the use of messengers drawn from among the bearers, we will aim to have the swarm converge at a point of our choosing. With luck, that point will be the village square. The perfect place for our most able warriors to surround them and fall upon them. And for you and I to finish them off.
Can we just get on with
Sound
this? We're just
plan.
gonna kill these people
One
anyways.
that'll require a leader with a cool head and strong nerves to coordinate the retreat. I'd say you have both in abundance, Sir Wade. But you'll be needed. Please, leave the last of the fighting to me.
Ha! And let you have all the glory.
Sir Wade, they're here.
You like how Godfrey had a huge variety in his moveset, and he
know
also
what you
looked
must
pretty
do.
cool. He did look pretty
Work
cool,
together.
especially in the second phase.
Everyone playing their part. Each shielding the other that no man might fall. That Eastpool might live on. For Rosaria.
For Rosaria!
The story is also cool when you
We've no
meet
time to
Godfrey, the
argue, my
grace
lord.
abandons you and
I'll do
instead
as you
points at
And I will do as you
at
ask.
you for Godfrey. Suddenly you're not the protagonist of the game anymore. Wasn't he the first, like, Elden
Suppose we'd
Lord
better
or
do our
something?
bit too, then, eh?
And he's like
Right you are,
kind of
Mother.
challenging you for that title in a way. Which is kind of funny that he's challenging, in a way, challenging you for the title of Elden Lord, and it turns into like a wrestling kind of like a
calm before the
WWE
storm.
match. It'd be kind of wild if you could also like do wrestling moves in that game.
And here it comes.
I suppose the closest you can get to are like fist weapons, right?
Not let this village fall.
It wouldn't be the same. There's no grabs in that game, if I remember correctly. I don't think, unless there's like some, you know, special weapon that has grabs for whatever reason. Which would be kind of wild.
Farewell.
Rest assured, the Elden Ring is closed. Alas, I have returned. I wonder what fight. I'm trying to think of a fight that I really liked in Elden Ring. I'm always so bad with names. Like I never think of stuff like this. I mean, that was definitely a fun fight. Obviously, you have like Melania. That was a fun fight too. I'd have to like look at a list of bosses to know, to like jar my memory to which ones are like the coolest.
Looks like that's the
Wasn't
last
there a
of them.
boss called like
Lord
Malkeith
Rosfield,
or something?
Change of plan.
What is it?
Owl from the rest.
I like
An
that
Akashic
one.
Curl's been sighted on Rhiannon's ride and is headed in their direction.
Well, the better half of her guard is here. So wait, how many Akashic remain in Eastpool?
Hard to say. My men are still facing some resistance, but I think the worst is behind us. I could order a detachment or two to fall back and...
No, let them finish the job. You stay here too, Sir Wade. Your men need you. I'll go after the Curl. Join me only when Eastpool is won.
If you're sure, my lord. May the Founder protect you.
Looking at a list right now. Radahn was pretty cool. Seems like you fight Godfrey a couple times. Golden Shade. You fight him as a Golden Shade, apparently. I guess we'll do it from here.
Ambrosia won't help me here.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Fire Giant. That one wasn't really that tough. Godskin Duo. I mean, they're alright. I had a hard time with the big dude, though. And I remember we met the skinny one, like, pretty early. And we were like doing no damage to him, and he'd kill us in like 2 hits. The Malekith, the Black Blade. Yep, that one for sure. What else is there here? That's Sir Gideon. That was kind of a dumb fight. Yep. Here's Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. Hora Lux. Oh, you get the final boss here. Radagon. Elden Beast. I don't know about those last two bosses. That's it, man. That was a short list. There's no way that that's all there was. Maybe the list isn't complete.
There it is. With me, Torgal.
Well, we should definitely go with Diamond Dust. Get rid of his dagger gauge as much as possible. That was quick. I didn't realize how much that that thunder attack takes away from stagger.
Give me thunder!
Can we finish him before the stagger runs out? Probably not. Close though, we almost took them all out. Oh, that went pretty smoothly. He literally acknowledges your journey and tells you, well, I am the final hurdle. Yeah, a replay would definitely help with the names. But for how long?
All right.
Couple months, maybe?
Back to Eastpool.
Yeah, I mean, Malekith is... I don't know how to spell that either. Radagon was pretty cool. You only need to beat, like, 6 bosses to beat the game. That's true.
Lord Rossfield, the Curl, is it?
It's dead.
Thank the Founder for that. And for you, my lord. We were able to eradicate the rest of the Horde. I have guardians posted around the village to keep watch for further attacks, but all seems quiet for now.
That was a pretty easy
I hesitate
fight.
to say it, but I think it might be over.
I think it might.
We did it. We saved Eastpool. Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
No, Sir Wade. It's us who should be thanking you. You brought us together. Showed us what it means to fight for what you hold dear.
We never had nothing to call our own before. We didn't know what it meant to protect it, but now we do. We really do.
Forgive us, Sir Wade. You and your people saved us, and still we doubted you. But there's no doubt in my mind anymore. We're free men now.
Oh, that bird
we
was
have
such a
to
pain
start
in the
acting
ass
like
to
it.
beat.
We have to fight to protect what's ours. To protect Eastpool.
And we shall. We all shall.
There was
Together.
like like one in a
This is our
snowy
home.
area that just
And
was
if anyone or anything
such a
tries
pain
to
in
take
the ass
it
to
away,
beat.
They'll have us to answer to.
Come on then. Let's get to work.
The amount of times we
This
died to
village
that
isn't going to
boss.
rebuild itself.
Insane.
They're not slaves anymore.
No. They're Rosarians. Your father took pity on the bearer's plight, and I believe if he were still with us today, this is what he would have wanted.
I believe you might be right.
I shall remain here, my lord, and do what I can to help rebuild the village. After all, this is my home now too, and I could hardly call myself an Eastpoolian if I didn't pull my weight.
I think you'll find it's East Pudlian, Sir Wade. But you should be proud all the same. I'll have to pull my weight too. Can't have the rest getting outclassed. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back.
Can we continue to count on your support, Martha?
Of course. And I'd be counting on yours, too. Us Rosarians have got to stick together, haven't we?
Indeed we have.
And Clive, come by the Golden Stables when you get the chance. I ain't paid you for delivering them seeds yet.
All right. I will.
Lord Rossfield, do you remember our very first mission together? Clearing the goblins from the Stillwind marshes?
That seemed like a lifetime
How could
ago.
I forget?
There's one sight that I shall never forget. You, facing off against that giant Morble. Not a trace of fear on your face. Since that day, there have been more than a few times when I felt like giving up. When the odds seemed so stacked in the enemy's favor, I thought I may as well just lay down my sword and surrender. But every time I would think back to the look in your eyes that day and remember what it means to be a shield. Know that whatever trials Eastpool may face, I shall never lose courage. Thanks to you.
So Wade, you have always been a true shield. I know that Eastpool, and indeed all of Rosaria, will be safe in your hands.
Thank you, my lord. I know the rest of the world will be safe in yours.
I'll do my best.
Okay, and I think that's pretty much the end of this quest. Let's just go turn it in, and we can finally move on to the main story. Where I'm sure as soon as we finish that main story quest, we'll be bombarded with 10 more side quests. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can do a couple more than just one.
The hero returns. It's lucky you came by when you did, eh? Not only did my seeds get delivered, but you went and saved Eastpool and all.
I just did what I could.
And it's only right that you get rewarded for it. Take it before I change my mind.
Thank you, Martha.
So, Eastpool's finally back on its feet again. And a home to free bearers. Who'd have thought we'd see the day, eh?
Well, it was your idea.
I know that, but I never stopped to think what it would mean. Bearers in charge of themselves, thinking for themselves, working for themselves. Like your hideaway, but not even hidden away. Though I suppose the rest ain't much different nowadays. You know...
Well, if the world wasn't in chaos, they
bearers
never would have
living
been allowed to
free like
live
that.
in peace.
Reminds me of when I first met Sid. Loath as I am to recall that particular day.
I take it you didn't always see eye to eye. What happened?
Well, if you really want to know, I started doing what I do long before I met Sid. In fact, that's how I met him. Or at least how he came to meet me. He showed up at the stables one day, asking questions about who'd been buying up bearers. Founder knows what he thought I was doing with them. Running a hunt, poking around in their innards. Something awful, anyway. Me, I thought he was a new constable. Thought the game was up. But somehow we both managed to work out what each other was about. And before I knew it, the cheeky arse was rattling on at me about how I was doing it all wrong. After all my hard work. Told me I was giving them relief, but not freedom. That my bearers were still dying as slaves. Got right under my skin, it did. Told him if he didn't like it, he could bugger off and report me to the garrison. And you know what he did? He smiled. And then he laughed. And then I did the same. We made a pact that day. That whenever one of us was in need, the other would always be there for him.
And you were?
Well, we both wanted the same thing. To make life better for bearers. Just like your dad. Do you know I was born right around the time Elwyn became Archduke? Growing up, I saw how he tried to change things. He certainly didn't lack for ambition, that one.
Indeed. But the loftier one's ambitions the harder they are to achieve. Which is why those of us who follow in their footsteps.
After doing all the side quests we did yesterday and the few today, I'm convinced that some of these storylines are pretty much have reached their end.
There's always them who come after
Because these
us.
have been the longest
Good
side
thing
quests
we've
we've
got a
ever
few
done.
half-decent sorts waiting in the wings, eh?
That's why it took us
It's
a
almost
day and a
enough
half
to
to
give
do
you a
them
little bit of hope.
of stream,
Just a little.
which is,
Anyway,
stream 2 or
enough
3 hours a
nattering.
day, so it's not like
Better
we're
get back to
spending 8
work.
hours doing
Let's
them
see
or
about
something.
making everyone some dinner, shall we? The least the folks who saved Eastpool deserve is a hot meal. And you and me ain't gonna save the world on an empty stomach neither.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
And just like that, we are done with all the side quests, unless some random other one pops up. And we can move on to the main story. Let's just take a quick look. Ah, what a beautiful thing. Go back to the hideaway.